Welcome back to another episode of the Wolves Only Podcast powered by JWX. Gentlemen.
Sir.
What's going down?
You tell me, man. We've been working today, dude.
I'm tired, brother.
I'm tired.
Are you tired? Thank
No,
God.
I'm not really tired. You know, I'm caffeinated as a motherfucker. And then I told you I gave up Celsius, and Jonathan walks in and he goes, hey, you got you some Celsius? And I'm like, God damn, he's like, it's the new flavor. I'm like, I gotta try it. So I just tried it. Now, I'm wired.
All wound up again.
Wired.
Yeah, my shit's wore off. Man.
But I got to entertain the Andersons. You understand? Like, I got to entertain the Andersons. This is a whole 3-day extravaganza. Me and Freddie are like running around, you know, filming, directing. I'm like Michael Bay right now.
Fine. Nothing wrong with it.
Well,
Great director.
Well, yeah. Freddie, what do you think, man?
It's been fun.
We've had a good time.
Oh, it's definitely fun.
It's been fun at the gym, shooting content, creating ads, golfing. Golfing was
Golfing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been, no, there's no question it's fun, but fun makes you tired too. You know? Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Smoked a lot of good cigars.
We have smoked a lot of good cigars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I have like a century worth of experience here. You know, you guys have been around the block, huh?
Yeah, between the two of us, we got some shit on the table here.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of lives changed, and
Yeah.
Jonathan and I have known each other now. He's one of my first friends in Huntington.
Oh,
And,
really?
yeah,
Yes, sir. That's cool.
Get to talk to him pretty much every single day. And now my newest friend in California right here. This is a really good connection. And I wanted you guys to meet specifically just because, I like to introduce guys that are around the same age. That's kind of my hobby. I go around looking for. I'm just kidding.
If that's the kinship, we got to look a little deeper, brother.
Yeah. No, I'm like,
man.
how old are you? I got a guy that's right around the same age, and I'm gonna get you in line. And then all of a sudden it works out. I'm like, Cupid for middle-aged men. A middle-aged man Cupid. But no, I wanted to do this show mainly because, the knowledge, the experience, you guys have, from what I've learned about you and what I know about you is like you have a very similar approach to nutrition, to lifestyle, and a little different being that, you're natty, but, either way, we talk open on the show, by the way.
Fine.
Yeah, well,
Of course.
But yeah, guys.
Yeah.
So John, meet John.
Hi, John.
What's going on, brother?
Yeah.
Well, I think that, the fact that we both understand and believe in the power of nutrition on a deeper level, and that's the case. It's we were just having another talk about, diets based around only macro numbers. And the people that don't really get dieting, they think it's a thing about macros. We look at that and kind of giggle.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Well, when I first met John, I was like, macros. I'm like, what is it? 40, 40, 20. Yeah. I'm doing 40, 40, 20. And that's like how I was taught.
Yeah.
And that says so little about what you're eating.
Now I know this.
I was like 40, 40, 20 was. Like, doing the whole food, 30, 30, 30. I'm like, all right, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Food is food, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem. People think food is food, and food is not food. Where is the food coming from? Right? Is it coming from a regenerative ranch? Is it coming from your USDA, I can pay for an organic stamp to get more money? It's a 7-year process. You look at some ranches that are organic. They've been in business for 3 years.
Yeah.
How are you organic? Right?
Yeah.
You paid
Oh, back up.
Yeah.
This is like bureaucracy like that.
100%.
So they're paying for it.
In order to get an organic stamp, it's 7 years of the USDA organic person comes to your place for 7 straight years, making sure you're following certain practices.
Okay, well, let me think. I'm just for sake of argument.
Yep.
Could it be that the farm it's like a liquor license where like they buy out the location?
No.
Okay, so you're saying brand new farms, 3 years old, are obtaining these.
Well, you got to think about it this way. How many new farms are popping up? None, right? So the government's trying to get rid of farms.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose.
Yeah.
So the farms in which you have are families that have been doing it for generations upon generations. So when you'll see, and I am not a social media fan whatsoever, because majority of stuff you see on there's fake lies, and I've been 51 years old prior to having a cell phone till my senior year in college, right? I'm not fooled by a lot of these things. But when you see regenerative organic ranch, we carry bison, elk, yada, 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 established 2021. It's impossible.
Yeah.
You can call it organic. You can call it whatever the hell you want. Call it prehistoric for all I care. But it doesn't have the certifications that are needed.
I mean, food is like one of the most cutthroat businesses, at least in our country.
See, I don't know about this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, I know about macros.
Okay.
I know how to get a guy to lose 100 pounds.
Okay.
How he feels about it, whatever. But you tell me I want to lose 100 pounds, I got you, and I got you all the support. You want to tell me you want to put the bottle of Jack Daniels down and get the Coke out of your nose? I got you.
That's
dude.
you.
I got you. But this stuff right now is like what really opens my mind. Like I'm blown away.
Let me give you a fun one real quick. I had a story with this guy in the gym. He's asked me what I was doing training wise. I showed him da. How do you know all this stuff? I've been doing it for plenty of years. Well, what do you eat? Told him. He goes, I'm a vegan. And I said, that's okay. But these are the disadvantages you're going to have as far as getting into certain things. And he says, well, Arnold's a vegan.
Interesting.
I said, Arnold who? He said, Schwarzenegger. I said, he may be now. He sure as hell wasn't a vegan. He goes, but I saw that movie Game Changers. And I said, let me stop you right now. Let me tell you about Game Changers, boys and girls out there. Game Changers is directed by whom, may I ask? James Cameron, the director.
Yeah.
Who is James Cameron's partner, may I ask? You know, a guy who started a small computer company named Bill Gates. And James Cameron and Bill Gates are the largest producers of soybeans in the world. So when you have a vegan movie funded by James Cameron and Bill Gates telling you how great that the being vegan is for you and how big you're going to get because Arnold did it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what people believe. And I said, if you're going to believe that, I have unbelievable beachfront property in Kansas and it's for sale. So,
well, you know, most people don't know this. I don't remember the dates, but basically the two biggest tobacco companies bought, I believe, the three biggest food companies, and they still operate under their names like Nabisco and whatever. But they're run by the tobacco companies.
probably.
This is a fact. It's crazy. The people that have spent fortunes on getting Americans, or I shouldn't say Americans, the world hooked on tobacco and all sorts of crazy chemicals that go into that, now are doing the same thing to the food. So it's like food is just such a cutthroat business. I mean, what these guys, the tobacco companies that was still have never lost a lawsuit, correct? Mm-hmm. And so now these are the people that are putting all this jacked up stuff in the food, and it's all processed, it's all junk. I mean, what does the body do with that stuff? It can't do anything with it.
Back up. Kai Green is a vegan though, isn't he?
He may be now. And there's nothing wrong if that's the life he wants to choose. That is fine.
I'm sorry. I was like wrapping my head around people saying Arnold, and then I was like, but wait, I thought I heard Kai Green is, but he's keeping size.
All right. So Kai Green, can he keep his size being a vegan? Well, we're going to go ahead and look at hormone protocols, number one. But we got to make sure there's proper protein synthesis with amino acids. So how are we going to get that by having protein? Can he be vegan? Sure. And this is the reason why. My favorite animal is a lowland mountain gorilla. That would be King Kong for you boys and girls at home. A lowland mountain gorilla eats 60 pounds of raw vegetation a day. Are they able to get protein in 60 pounds of raw vegetation? Hell yeah. Now, is it a complete protein? No. Are they going to be able to absorb all the protein? Yes. Can they utilize all the protein? No. That's the problem. That's why they snack on squirrels and guinea pigs and then smaller monkeys, right? But you absolutely can get the protein source. The problem is Kai Green is a expert in what he does. Majority of people, or people I see at my shop that come in that are overweight, that are vegan, don't understand that, sure, a cup of beans may have 18 grams of protein in it, but they got 74 grams of carbs. And unfortunately, you're watching and eating that on the couch. So if you're not going to burn those carbohydrates, that's the problem that vegans are typically going to have.
Yeah.
And then if vegans have children and they want to put the children, necessarily the babies, on a vegan diet, you're going to destroy any neurofactors they have because they're going to be B12 deficient. They're going to be choline deficient. And now you got a lot of issues that you got to deal with. So you can be a vegan and be successful, but you need to be educated on actually what you're doing. And unfortunately, the mass people are not.
I'll tell you this, and I don't want to stick on the vegan topic because I have it's so funny to me. You don't know this about me. I lost a lot of weight on a vegan diet. It was 2 years vegan, okay? And lost a lot of weight. And I was like, I feel great until I didn't anymore. And then I remember calling my doctor and I was like, he's like, well, you still doing that vegan shit? I'm like, yeah. He's like, eat an egg. He's like, go eat an egg. I'm like, oh, like, he's like, just eat some protein. Go eat some fucking meat and see how you feel, and then call me, and I will tell you right away. Right when I ate, I ate shit food too. I went to Chipotle or something, and instantly felt 100 times better than I ever have. And I was really on point with my plant-based diet.
But why would a meat diet be better for a human being? Because we're animals.
Right.
End of story.
But they make the argument that we weren't designed to eat.
That's why we have canines. That's a great argument.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean.
Well, on the vegans, one of the things, it's kind of a comical thing. If you meet 100 vegans, 85 of them are mad as hell.
Vegans get their protein by telling people that they're vegan.
And the 15 that are not mad is because they cheat.
Facts.
Yeah.
But also
they're not
vegan. This is a vegan steak, a vegan hot. Get your own words. Get your own words. Right? Yeah. So that was the big thing with that Game Changers movie. Changed a lot of people because they had world-class athletes that were on there. And there was a strong man that was on there.
Yep.
And I will bet any amount of money that mountain Hafthor Bjornsson, whatever, would smash this dude.
He was never.
Then he would.
He was not a. He was not a world-class guy. Period. End of story. He was just a guy that was great for the camera because he was bulky and he was moving around weight that seemed to be great to the average man.
Correct.
But he would get crushed at high-level stuff.
Yeah.
Crushed.
Yeah, Eddie Hall or Thor.
Yeah, 100%.
And all they eat is meat.
But let's not even go to let's get rid of the brass ring athletes. Let's just go down into just an average world competitor. That guy couldn't live in that world either. So, yeah, there's, how many vegans do we find that have earned a gold medal?
Well, in the vegan Olympics?
Yeah, and then normally a good point. Yeah.
Well, you look at NFL athletes, right? Cam Newton, savage. Yeah. When did he start getting hurt? Vegan.
Yep.
And you see a lot of these NFL guys that they need to get quicker, they need to lose weight, and instead of hiring a nutritionist that actually is going to help them do performance, they go, "Oh, I'm going to get my buddy. We're just not going to eat meat," which makes absolutely no sense. They lose a ton of weight, their bones get brittle, and they are out of the game in a year.
Interesting.
Yeah,
no, I never thought about that.
Yeah, I've got two little boys, Cade and Kyler, and those guys are going to be absolute savages. And I feed them to where they can be absolute savages, right? But we're living in a world where you got people that don't have time and fast food this, fast food that. Well, guess what? If you prep your meals, it's always fast.
It's always fast. Yeah.
The old saying, "You are what you eat," is so much more true than people give it credit for. It's unbelievable. If you're eating steaks, you're looking like a steak. You're eating a Cheeto, you're looking like a Cheeto.
Well, how old are you, may I ask?
52.
You look terrible, right? You watch what you eat?
That my whole existence has been based around my diet.
Facts. I'll be 51 this year.
Yeah.
I think if you and I go out, we're not going to get 103 combined age.
No.
We ask people, right?
Yeah.
Right. No, absolutely not.
100%.
What are you doing? What are you training? How about what we're eating?
Yeah, 100%. People just don't get that the diet is, you could say 75%, but realistic, it's way more than that. But you can't tell someone it's more than 75%. They look at you like you're nuts. So you might get them to believe 75. So that's what I say. Look at 75% the diet, 25% the training, because now in their minds they don't think that I'm nuts.
What about sleep?
Sleep is way up there. I'd say one of my rules with my clients, if you don't sleep well, you don't get to train. Training's off the table if you don't sleep well.
Savage. And what's the importance of sleep?
Oh, I mean, Jesus, without sleep, everything that we want goes away. You know, I mean, goodness, the list goes on. I mean, it's without sleep, it's like, okay, but why don't you stop breathing too?
We can do that. So if people take excessive growth hormone for whatever reason, growth hormone is for recovery, right?
That's not replacing sleep.
Oh, so you can sleep and not be pumping growth hormone in your body?
Sleep will.
That's weird.
Sleep will handle a lot of
weird.
Yes.
Now, when you have both.
But what I'm saying is, people will always say it's drugs. The drugs make you look like that. It's drugs. No. If you eat right and you sleep and you train, it's called a performance enhancer for a reason, not a performance liver. Right?
I mean, sleep. That's a good point, brother. Sleep is one of the biggest performance enhancers out there.
Facts.
You know, and it's the whole thing is, you know, your diet and your rest and recovery, obviously sleep. That's the cake. You know, the PEDs and the training is like the icing on the cake.
and I think majority of the people out there today would argue with you,
guaranteed,
because they don't know.
They have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
No, for sure. And even some people are taking outrageous amounts of PEDs and they don't even work for their bodies. Their fucking liver's so shot, their blood panels are so fucked that it doesn't even matter. They could take everything under the sun and it's not even helping.
If you don't know how to train, first off, so if you don't know how to break down muscle tissue, if you don't know how to actually eat to replace that tears with protein synthesis, I don't care what you take.
Yeah.
It ain't going to work.
No. It doesn't matter.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, who wants a mouthful of icing?
Delicious.
You know, when you're a kid and you think, oh man, I want that piece in the corner because it's all full of icing, and take a big bite. And
Yeah.
you know, without any cake in your mouth, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
At my fattest, I could eat a whole fucking thing of icing.
That's disgusting.
Dude, that's heavy.
I was, yeah.
That's you gotta.
I was a dirty bitch.
You've got to work your way to eat straight icing. You can't just start eating straight icing.
That's Jedi fat level.
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't in shape.
Oh yeah. I mean, if a blob is a shape, then yeah.
Facts.
No. I could pound some icing.
Yeah. Well, that's not how we do
Especially
it.
after like a big blunt, you know, and I'd be all stoned, and that's all that was in the cupboard. Like, yeah.
You got to control that environment. That's the first thing. Well, let's get the icing out of the cupboard. That's
Oh, well, yeah.
Out of sight of the mind is a big step for most people.
Yeah. But now I got hypnotized, so we're good there. We're good.
I mean, that is the industry in which John and I live in is who has the best social media to lie, because people don't want to do the research, because I need the answers right now because you look like that. So therefore it must be true. And I'd like for you to find someone on social media over the age of 45 who is spewing the same stuff the 45 and unders are spewing.
That's really, brother, that's pretty profound. That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought about it that way, because you don't find people. You know, when you're young, you can get away with a lot. As you get older, if you're not playing by the proper rules, you just don't continue to. You don't look good. You don't feel good. You know, it's. A whole deal.
In order for me to learn what I learned, there wasn't the internet.
Yeah,
you actually had to read books.
Oh,
and so it is definitely very easy to learn what we've learned. Obviously, it takes time, but look at the author. You know, if that author is not over 45 years old. I mean, for instance, what's the biggest fad right now? Intermittent fasting. You know what we called it growing up? I'm going to eat when I'm hungry. Right? But now someone put a name on it and made a ton of money off of it.
Yeah.
And this is the problem that a lot of these people see, and it's a catch-22, because it is our business to get people who are unhealthy healthy.
Yeah.
Right? And we actually enjoy doing it, but we don't lie. No. We show them the work that needs to be done and what has to be done. And those that actually do the work, you know what's miraculous? It works.
Yeah, that's right.
But when you also look at supplement companies, and we got Labor Day coming up, and we're going to do a special 70% off our products. Well, how good is your product if you're giving 70% off?
Right.
Right? It still is a business to people.
And that tells you what the markup is.
100% on those products.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'll tell you, because I take pride in the products that I carry in my store.
Yeah.
And the products that I have are products that are all tested, which people can't speak of these days, even though the new marketing now is now tested. Well, what the hell was it beforehand? Right? So you definitely, there is a difference. All supplements are not created equal. I've been preaching that for 22 years. They're not. All steaks are not created equal. Grass-fed is not corn-fed. Sorry.
Yep.
Right? You're going to have a different omega-3, omega-6 ratio. People go, what the hell is this kid talking about? I'll tell you real quick. The difference between grass-fed beef versus your normal grain-fed beef is in grass-fed beef, you have a much higher omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. And omega-3s you want to get from animals, not plants. Omega-6s you get from plants mostly. When you have your corn-fed beef and people are selling it all over for a ton of money, it's much higher levels of omega-6 to omega-3, which cause a massive inflammatory response into your body. But people don't know that. I'm going to go ahead and do this thing. And those differences, right, make a big difference. But guess what? We're over the age of 50.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So you want to get it done right, you actually have to learn as much as possible.
Oh, and going back to what we were saying before the internet was there, there was really difficult to find, what was really going on. And when I was young, a lot of mine was through trial and error. I had a whopping learning disability. Reading was not a strong suit of mine. And I remember, it was like the fad was, it was actually TV, you'd see on TV, eat wheat. So I'm eating loaves of wheat bread thinking that I'm going to get big and strong. Then one day, thank God, my mom didn't have wheat bread in the house. I'm like, what am I going to eat? There was a bunch of tuna. So I started eating tuna one day. And all of a sudden I realized, holy shit. I mean, literally the next day I was like, I feel much stronger in the gym. So I discovered protein just by high levels of protein, just by the fact that there was no more wheat bread in the house.
And who created that food pyramid?
Oh, that food pyramid is so backwards that's unbelievable.
Yep. It's all a fallacy.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people talk like that. It's almost as if there's like a lot of conspiracy about how like government things that they want to keep people down, right? Keep people poor, keep people in that situation. But it's almost as if the food pyramid is designed
to keep you fat,
keep you
you inflamed, put you on medication, stay on medication, and then die.
Why is it the food and the drug? Why is that an administration? Why are they side by side? Because the food gets you sick, so the drug companies they know what's coming. Mm-hmm. They're sending the sickness down the pipe. Oh goodness, we got the remedy right here.
And then they think, well, why don't you go work out? Well, the gym's too expensive. All right, let's talk about that for a minute. You can go to the nicest gym. Your gym is pretty nice.
Oh yeah.
How much is it for the year, give or take?
$3,000.
$3,000, right?
Was that where we were today?
No, Equinox.
Oh, okay. And people go, there's no way I'm going to spend that. Yet that's their monthly medical bill.
Yeah.
For the pills that they're putting in from their insurance that they're paying.
Let's just pretend that they truly didn't have them. Do some push-ups, do some body weight squats, go for a goddamn walk.
That's what I did this morning.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I won't go to the gym. Or I'll just choose. I mean, I can just get rippingly sore with body weight squats.
Facts.
Unbelievable. I mean, you try to do 10 sets of 10 of 100 body weight squats, you're limping for a long time. Mm-hmm. I mean, my clients get all bent out of shape. Oh, I'm not going to be able to have a gym, for a week. I send them 3 workouts, and they're monotonous. And I say, look, it's going to suck, but it's going to get the job done. They're doing body weight squats on one day. They're doing push-up variations on another. And I have them do like a rowing variation where they take a broomstick, lay it across a couple of chairs. It's just as simple 3 workouts that take a day between. And they get more sore from that sometimes than going to the gym.
I didn't go this morning. I had to take my kids to school. So I do a 30-minute walk,
Yep.
300 push-ups,
Yep.
300 air squats.
Oh, there you go, baby.
10 sets of 30.
And do you go back and forth between the two?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And you're getting your heart rate going.
Everything.
Yeah.
Sweat a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can do that in your living room. Hell, you can do it anywhere you choose.
Anywhere.
Guys,
that gave me chicken skin right there. Look at that. You can see the goose pimples because we're uncovering some of the like major secrets here. But the problem is that people just don't want to hear this stuff.
Facts.
Well, I just always have a hard time with the time issue. Yeah, if you're somewhere, if you're camping and there's no gym around, like, okay, what other situation really? Okay, I was a car dealer. I worked 90 to 100 hours a week. I also battled an insane cocaine addiction where I was up all fucking night drinking and doing cocaine. I also was battling a child custody, which I did not belong battling that at all. Okay, I was dealing with a divorce, an affair, all the worst possible things that you could possibly imagine. And I made it to the gym every single day. Strung out, hungover, fucked up, stressed out, beyond belief, with a 7-figure job. And I made it.
Therapy.
Every single
That's
day.
Therapy.
I mean,
I never
gym,
can accept it. I never can accept it when people say that.
Yeah, the gym.
Fuck you. You can make it.
Yeah, the gym is like Prozac for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's the truth. I mean, the cascade of positive brain chemicals that come out from catching a good sweat is, I mean, that right there alone is what makes people feel good. I mean, that's one of the first things I do in the morning. I'm going to break a quick sweat because I want to feel good.
I mean, people ask me, so at my shop 10 hours a day working. Do you do cardio? I do. What do you do? I do 7,000 steps at work. So it's 200 paces from my front door around my parking lot, up the sidewalk, back down. I do that with 35 times a day. And people will stop me. Now I'm starting to get other gym or other store owners hopping out there with me. If there's no business, move.
Brother, that's beautiful.
You know, the biggest thing people understand, when you get older, your metabolism slows down, which is why you got fat, right? No. Your metabolism didn't slow down. You slowed down.
Exactly.
Yeah, your metabolism doesn't slow down hardly at all. Until
You
you're
slowed down.
70.
Yeah.
You slowed down. And that's just another excuse that people use. And, you know.
Yeah. You know, going back to the body weight exercises, and you know, when I was traveling in Japan while I was wrestling, there'd be times where they would call it country towns. It'd be small shows we'd do in the gym. We'd all just go to the gym. And sometimes these little country towns, the gym would be so inefficient to like equipment that it just wasn't worth a shit. And I would literally opt not to touch the equipment, and I would do bodyweight squats, push-ups, and shit like that in the gym. And I'd get a better workout than if I tried to put a workout together with the equipment was there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Whoa, I didn't know that you were a wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
come on, Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I first started off as a pro strongman, then went from there to Japan, and then I kind of work in sevens. I did 7 years as a pro strongman, 7 years as a pro wrestler, and 7 years as a pro bodybuilder.
Wow.
Yeah.
What federation or
New Japan.
New Japan? Okay.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have known.
Yeah. No.
If I was like pretty specific to, WCW, WWE.
Yeah. So what happened with that was, I was actually in talks with WWE right at the time when Benoit offed his family. And
really?
And so the guy I was talking to at the time, he's no longer with WWE. I believe his name was Ty Bailey. Anyway, he was like, dude, he goes, I don't know what to tell you. He goes, we are under heavy scrutiny right now. If we bring somebody on like you, we're going to be in deep shit. So he says, you ought to just take that opportunity you got in Japan. So off I went.
Yeah, because he whacked out Benoit.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is of course, they blamed that whole thing on PEDs, but when it came down to it, once they studied his brain, they realized he had so much damage to his brain from concussions. That was the problem.
So it was like the football
CTE.
CTE, yeah. Dude, that's awesome.
Dude,
I figured. I was like, remember, I kept telling you, I'm like, you can cut a
Yeah,
hell of a promo.
I thought
I
you
didn't
knew
know.
that.
Yeah, I didn't know. Well, did you know I'm a wrestling fan?
No, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I still watch Raw every week.
Dude, one of my best friends from New Japan is Finn Balor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jay Ferrugia, he coaches Chad Gable. It was
Okay,
he was
yeah.
main event last weekend.
Yeah.
Kid's great. He fought Uncle what's his name? Uncle Howdy. It was fucking great, dude. It was a good fight. Yeah, Chad scares us. I'm always texting back and forth with Jay. I'm like, he's fucked up right there. He actually got fucked up right there. He does some wacky shit. You ever watch Chad Gable fight?
Mm-mm.
Fuck.
Yeah, I don't follow it anymore. When I move from one venture to the next, I don't feel like I'm going to get where I want to go looking behind me. So I always look straight ahead. So I still keep in contact with my buddies from my wrestling, but I don't really follow it. You know, like what is it? OG. It's Carl Anderson is his ring name. Chad Allegra's his real name. He's really cool too. I mean, these are guys that have been in my house. I mean, when you're on tour with guys, I mean, you really do bond if you're a like-minded type of guy.
Right. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So that's
now
where
I'm like,
that's
now
where,
I wonder. I'm like, when he
that's where-
films, I'm like, you're cutting a promo, and I'm like,
the first time with the first crate, he gave me a script for an ad, and I cut it from front to back because he gave it to me. And I filmed it, sent it to him. He's like, dude, you can cut a promo, and I was almost going to say, dude, we were trained for that. I was thinking, well, he knows that, so I didn't.
I had no clue. I had no clue.
Yep.
Like I didn't know Flex was like a martial artist. Like,
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, he was actually better. He claims he was a better fighter than he was a bodybuilder.
Well, that's
I mean, yeah, I'm like, wait, hold on a second.
That's a weapon.
So you were the greatest
Yeah.
fighter of all time?
yeah,
Because everybody knows that's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
of course.
But on that level, speaking of people, when one of the things that I'm really good at with my clients is helping them make sure that they can somewhat eat how they need to when they're really busy or traveling. Because I did that. I mean, I was on the road all the time, and what I did is I fell back to the hard-boiled egg, baby. Because that if we got stuck on a desert island and we had unlimited supply of eggs, we'd be in good shape.
Tuna, eggs, apples.
And so, funny story. So on the tour bus, right, I'd always be eating eggs. I'd be constantly, and I'm peeling them, right, and I'm doing the best I can not to get them on the floor. But the Japanese, man, they are clean, and so they call me in the office and say, hey, you can't eat those eggs anymore because you're making a mess. I'm like, God, I'm making a mess. I mean, they're just like these couple little tiny things on the ground. I can't pick them up with my fingers, So they said, well, you can't eat them anymore. I said, well, what if I do this? And when I was over there, I always had cargo shorts on with eggs in my pockets because I knew that I had them right there if I need them. So I was literally sitting across from one of the I guess you'd say one of the office people, whipped out an egg with the shell, put it in my mouth, chewed it up with the shell, swallowed it. I said, can I do it like this? And they looked at me there. Oh, and at that point, I was able to eat eggs, but I was just eating them with the shell.
That's what Franco Colombo did for collagen.
Yeah. I mean, when it came down to it, I was like, if I can't have my eggs, this is really, really taking a big piece of my diet away. I have to have these eggs because the food was so limited when we were on tour, especially long trips on the bus.
Yeah.
But aren't eggs high in cholesterol? Isn't that bad for you?
Oh, yeah. You can't have cholesterol is healthy.
It is?
Yes. Come on, man. It's I was making a joke, our doctors they're basically taught to work on sick people.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to deal with someone who actually is active and eats well. And so, when you got some guy he's a lard ass sitting on the couch, it's a different set of rules that apply to him.
Facts.
Well, it's true. I mean, most doctors don't even look like they're very healthy.
No.
In the first place.
I mean, I read blood work probably 30, 40 times a week at the shop. And I mean, the information, my whole family are physicians, but the information that these doctors are giving these people about cholesterol, first off, all hormones are based off cholesterol.
Yeah.
So if we don't have cholesterol, we're dead. The basis of all cells in our body are made of cholesterol. So we're dead. Dietary cholesterol, for the most part, does not affect serum cholesterol because our body makes cholesterol. So if you don't have cholesterol, your cholesterol is too low, it's no bueno. But a lot of people also, too, may have low testosterone and their cholesterol is all jacked up. Then all of a sudden, as their testosterone goes up, their cholesterol goes down. And it's like, what happened? It's magical. No, I mean, it's all hand in hand, but they're not educated on that.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Interesting.
Well, wasn't it crazy when they started bringing the statin drugs in? And all of a sudden, they lowered the level of what healthy cholesterol should be because they wanted to start prescribing these drugs. So the normal level, all of a sudden now, well, you need to so they dropped that level. So your cholesterol's high, even though it was what it was years ago, the normal level, so they could start prescribing these drugs.
Right. And the thing with cholesterol too is cholesterol is a ratio between cholesterol and HDL to actually see where you're at as far as arteriosclerosis. So you could have a 400 cholesterol and your doctor's saying you're about to die. But you have 100 HDL, your ratio is 4, muy bueno. But they don't know that because they've never been taught that. And that's the problem. You're going to look more at LDL is a fun one too.
Yeah.
So LDL is deposited in every cell in your body. And it's going to take 25, 26, 27 days from liver back to liver. So when you get tested, do we know what day we're on? Because if you get tested day 1, your LDL's through the roof.
Yeah.
You get tested day 27, it's lower.
Yep.
Well, how is that possible? Because it's deposited through your body. You need things. And there's ratios and there's things. So you have to be conscious of what it is because it does show things. There's a test called, it's called an ApoB test. And that's the one you actually want to check for arteriosclerosis in your body. That's showing the hardening of the arteries. But a lot of doctors who I've had my clients ask, go get an ApoB test. They ask, what's that? That's a problem.
Yeah. Well, what is it? Kaiser, one of the biggest.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know. So if basically me, clearly we can see that I'm not obese, but their height weight ratio.
Yeah, you're
classifies
morbidly
me
obese.
I'm morbidly obese. So I would be on every fucking medication under the goddamn sun, all because they put me on a scale. They saw how tall I was, and then boom, all of a sudden now their computer starts spitting out all the shit I'm supposed to be taking.
Yeah.
And these doctors, I'm sure, I don't even know what to say. Goodness gracious. We know that they're not taught to work on healthy people, but you got to think that some of these doctors, well, all doctors should be smart enough to realize, okay, this is really not the case, but they're just kind of doing what they're told.
But most doctors that I've met are like your guy behind the counter at the deli. Number 1, let's get him out as quickly as possible. Number 2, a lot of the times they're treating problems or symptoms and not the problem because they don't want to spend the time to actually fix that person.
Yeah.
And that's what we do.
Terry and I had this friend that owned a gym, and his brother was a doctor at Kaiser. And so we could kind of hear what was going on behind the scenes, like the conversations they would have. And what it came down to is the doctors that did want to do good, they weren't given the resources that they wanted to do good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They weren't even allowed.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Talk about, Jesus Christ, it's a business again.
Right.
Hospitals they're privately owned. It's a business.
We don't make money off healthy people.
It's far more. It's far more ambiguous when you see it with the pain clinics and the pain and the prescription pain medications. Right. You don't think about it in terms of blood pressure medication, things like that, because it's not abused. But the same thing that went down with like Purdue Pharma and all of that is, I assume, going on with everything else that they're jamming down your face.
For the most part, that's the problem. So I tell people, and this is a big thing.
This is going to get our podcast banned.
No. Well, I'm careful is what I'm saying on some of these names, but one of the things too is, if you don't care about the person, you should not be in the health field.
Yeah.
If you're in the supplement game to get rich, you can do it correctly, morally, ethically, but majority of people don't. If you find the best mechanic, are you ever going to go back to the dealer? Never. If you find the best barber, are you ever going to go to another place? No. So when people shop around looking for the best deals, it drives me crazy because you can come into my store, you can work with John, get the best knowledge that you need, but because it's too expensive, you're going to go somewhere else and get garbage information.
Well, that actually was something I wanted to touch on and probably wrap this up on, is your level of investment into your own health.
Yep.
And we talked about, what you're going to pay for in the long run and how it is, how a lot of it is going to determine your overall investment. But I've always said this, and it's funny because I look at the way you should handle your level of investment when it comes to coaching, guidance, nutrition, plans, stuff like that. should be like a percentage of your income. And really, I mean, for a lot of people, I know we say we don't want to have to coach people forever. We don't want to, like, we want to be able to set them up for a lifetime of things. But a lot of people should need to be invested in themselves. They have to be. For myself, I have to be. Could I go and be and maintain right where I'm at right now and stay really healthy and not pay a coach and not ask people for guidance and things like that? For sure. But I know that I'm far more likely to be cognizant of everything going on in me now, to where now I'm getting my blood checked out and things like that, which I never would have done that stuff before.
And one thing you always say that a lot of times is, now you're comfortable. So you're never going to push yourself to see what else you can do.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Being getting comfortable is like it's an enemy. Because as soon as you get comfortable, you get complacent. You get complacent, everything starts going back the wrong way, you know. But on that level, though, brother, I mean, I'm a big connoisseur of setting people free. Letting them, okay, I'll take you from point A to point B. I'm going to teach you how to go to C and to D. If you want to stick around for accountability, I'm all for that. But I need to know that I taught you how to do this on your own. And if you just want an extra set of eyes, I'm here.
Yeah, and along those lines, I think this is would harp on the point is, you know, you see all these coaches, we'll talk about professional bodybuilding coaches, things of that nature, and the best ones that were out there, and they know everything. If they knew everything, their clients would peak every time. Right? But the human body changes.
Yeah.
So if you know the human body and you can work with your clients along with their deficiencies and their positives, but you have that relationship with them, which you don't get from most coaches, that's what you get with people who know what they're doing.
Right. I like that.
Absolutely.
This was fun.
I mean, I can do this for days.
Well, you know what this is? This is just kind of like peeling the top off for people to get a really honest, real look at what's really going on.
And we're in the industry too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the difference.
Well, I mean, it's easier to make money doing the dumb shit that everybody else is doing. But when you really want to do a service and you want to do it morally, then you're basically confined. And I see it as you're confined to do what's helping them. But the problem is it's just not popular.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Facts.
Yeah. I mean, it's not popular. It's not pretty. Like, a lot of people look at us like, you know, and yeah, we're in great shape, but you don't understand and in my end, especially with sobriety, like, oh my God, like this is fucking hard work.
Yeah.
It's hard work.
Well, and when you get someone down the line enough, and it happens with all of my clients, you know, they can't wait. They can't wait for cheat meals. And I just say, look, just give it a little time. And then, you know, when I finally do cut them loose, I know what's going to happen. Their bodies are going to reject it. And they're like, I'm not doing that again. Mm-hmm. Well, good. Now I don't have to tell you.
Mm-hmm. But they got to learn.
Exactly. So when they got a stomach ache for 3 hours and they don't want to get up and they feel like hell, that's the best way for them to understand that their old way of living was, that's now they realize, because they felt that it was not us telling.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're listening. Now they got their ears on.
Have to.
Fair enough.
Yes.
For real. Yeah. I mean, it's so funny because, like, now that I've like really given up sugar, right? Like, I dread, because I know how it feels, right? Like, when I go and John,
I know
when I go off, I go off.
But the thing with sugar, though, too, sugar is still a fuel source. It's not that you can't have it, but you need to use it.
Right.
And the problem is people abuse it watching the movie
Yep.
and then going to bed.
There's never been a time where I've been like, I'm gonna binge like every single Oreo in the store and
Go do legs.
and then go crush legs. No, that's never. And I'm actually somewhat disciplined.
That's because those two train of thoughts don't fit together. When you're choosing to eat like that, you don't think about doing something productive. You think about doing you're basically in a mindset where you're going to, I'm going to eat like shit. I'm going to lay on my ass. I'm going to do this. And you're just going deeper down that rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the fat guy mentality is, and I know the fat guy mentality. I know that fucking mentality better than you would imagine. You're going out of your way to be a lazy piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's part of the plan.
Well, and somehow society has like made this, I'm going to treat myself.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do something good, you reach a goal, you're feeling good. Treat yourself with a win.
Right.
Don't treat yourself with a loss.
Right.
I mean, I had a client of mine. I'm so proud of him. I mean, he was a 500-pound guy, and he'd lost in 200 pounds on and off over many times. And I got my hands on him, and we made all this progress. And he basically came and said, hey, I'm having my girls back. They're coming home from college. We're going to have this nice weekend. I think I'm going to treat myself. And I said, whoa. I said, let's think about this. Your daughters are coming home. They're going to see you're down 200 pounds again. You're feeling good. This is the best you felt. Your blood works look better than ever. And then you're going to basically have them watch you go back to that self-loathing behavior pattern.
It would be literally like a relapse. And if you think about it too, like anybody that gets to 500 pounds, you are an addict.
Yeah.
You are a fucking addict. You're a food addict. You're no different than an alcoholic or a drug addict at that point, because you are killing yourself. Okay. And I truly, truly believe that the only way to combat addiction is abstinence from, truthfully, and I know that for myself, right? I'm not a food addict, right? At one point I probably was, but I overcame it. But even if I do go off, I have to reel myself back in. I have to go back to my program, just like I would if I were to start drinking. If I started drinking again, my fucking life would fall apart faster than probably it did the first time around, probably 10 times faster. So when they say treat themselves, it's the same. You have to approach it the same exact way as a drug addict, where it's like, oh, I'm going to go treat myself to some heroin.
Yes. Yeah. And the thing about it is and when I explained this to him, it was like the light bulb went off. And because we've all been bred to think that this is normal behavior, people do it all the time, and they don't think twice about it. And for him, I got him to see it from his daughter's standpoint, and that just the light bulb went off, and he's never turned back. Now when he's going to treat himself, he treats himself. He takes the win, and he wants to treat himself for the win. He does another win. Mm-hmm. And this has been a complete game changer. And it's all about just getting them to see the fact that, yes, we've been programmed the wrong way.
Well, speaking of programming, I'm fat because my parents were fat and my grandparents were fat. Now, is that possible genetically? 100%.
Sure.
But does your parents eat McDonald's every single day?
Yes.
And did your grandparents eat McDonald's every day? That's
habits.
not hereditary.
They're sending those
that's
habits
taught
down. Right. The habits are coming down the family tree, and that's the problem.
So there's a book I'm reading right now where they talk about the difference between your hardware and your software, right? Like and to become a hacker of your own body. So that he literally breaks it down just like basically what your hardware is, right? And that's something that you cannot pick, right? Mm-hmm. Like that is actually what you are, but your software is actually what determines the outcome of the performance. Mm-hmm. And the software can be completely eliminated. You can reboot back, you can reboot 100%. Back to default settings and then put in new software 100%. And if you look at it like Oprah, you know her story.
I don't even care.
I understand, but her story is actually pretty.
Like from where she came from.
Where she came from.
She was a newscaster in Chicago, all that fun stuff.
Before that,
she was like a poverty kind of
poverty, left homeless from like the age of 6 years old. Like her hardware was fucked. Literally the most fucked up situation. She was abused sexually over and over and over again. No one believed her till the point where she had to run away and go off on her own because she kept getting sexually abused. I mean, like it was insane to ever think that she would become the first black woman billionaire based off of that hardware is insane. But she had to completely go back and she hired. She had worked with a number of like mentors that were able to help her like reset, reprogram. And it turned out to be what she is today.
I think eating nutritionally, you eat for blood type, eat for this, eat for that. You can eat for whatever the hell. The one thing that I think actually is truthful is eat like your great grandparents ate.
Here we go.
Because
all that shit
if you're from Japan, let's say, or we'll use like American Samoa. Those are big people. They got a whole lot bigger when they became westernized.
Yep.
Right? Japanese people were very skinny doing all their stuff. What happened when they got Americanized? So if you don't know what to eat and you're out there and what diet to do, eat what your great grandparents ate. Yep. That's what you're programmed to do. Because we're not that far away from them.
Right.
I had a lady come in, she was 80, and she was worried about the foods that she was eating. And I said, you're not eating great now, but guess what? You had 50 years of real food. So you have a foundation of 50 years. So you're strong. The last 30 years been a little shaky, right? But the carrot you ate, the milk you ate was legit food.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So strong.
It's and one of the things that I hang my hat on with my clients is I basically just start programming simple little habits around food, and then it starts to happen kind of on its own. They start to feel better. Once they feel good, they didn't realize how bad they felt, and then again, now we got their ears.
That was one of the best things I've heard, and it's so true. And again, I only ever speak to my own personal experience. I don't speak to anybody else's, and it's so fucking true. You don't realize how bad you felt until you feel good.
Oh yeah,
and I love that.
Well, even with your sobriety, right? If you're drunk all the time or doing something, you don't know what you're supposed to feel like.
Right. Yeah. The way I wake up today, from everything from the way I feel physically and mentally, like, are you kidding me? Like, I used to live my life like that. I looked forward to doing that shit. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and like any addiction, and what we're talking about really is food addiction, and it's the same thing, right? A lot of people and like eating like shit is fun. Believe me, when I go into fat boy mode, right? I got a movie and I got the red vines and the fucking Swedish fish, motherfucker. I got the double stuffed Oreo. Like, I'm set up.
That gives me a stomach ache.
It does. Just listening to it. It sounds awful.
And listen, but like, and I'm like set up for it, right? Just the same way I would when I had the mirror out with the fucking blow all set up, and you know what I mean? And I don't know where I was going with this, but yeah, the whole idea is, as fun as it is, you need something better.
But you'll feel better.
Well, you'll feel better, but listen, Jonathan, it's not just about that's not everybody's awakening. The way they feel is not necessarily somebody's awakening. So discovering like what their actual awakening is. Yes, we understand that we feel better, right? But some people are so they're so miserable inside that they feel like that's how they should feel that way.
Yeah.
And feeling different makes no difference. So how do you build someone's self-respect? How do you build someone on the mental side of things? Yeah, we're talking about the cellular,
it's self-loathing behavior patterns.
But exactly, and that's where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
When you understand that, listen, if you're over 50 pounds overweight, if you're morbidly obese, is that what that is? 50 pounds or more overweight?
What would be
You.
Yeah, that's right.
Me too. So, okay, whatever it is, if you're morbidly obese, then you have an eating disorder. You have a problem with eating, right? And whatever else you're putting into your body. That's why you're that way. So
If it's not genetic.
fuck that.
No, because there's been plenty of studies out there. People will eat like they're supposed to eat, but their body doesn't process the same way. The blood sugar regulation is so insensitive that no matter what they put in their body, and so they actually have to change at the cellular level what their body is doing. That's a fact.
Then hire John.
But no, that's their study. Peter Attia is a big longevity doctor, fantastic at what he does, and all of the studies that he's done with his clients at Johns Hopkins University and Mass General, he was seeing people that were eating what they're supposed to eat and still gaining weight and getting fatter and getting fatter.
What percentage of those are
100%?
Yeah.
I know, I'm with you. What I'm saying is it is possible.
Yes,
It is possible.
It's like a vehicle that gets stuck in reverse.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
But yeah, somebody that's diagnosed with, endless obesity.
No, I get it. No, I get it. I'm just saying it is possible.
Right.
It is possible.
How many people have ever told you that, though? They're like, I'm diagnosed.
But they don't go to the
fat.
But they also probably
fat.
don't get blood work to care. They're just going to sit and complain and make it worse and worse.
Yeah.
Or how about the whole thing of, my metabolism is shot. Well, it's shot because of the way you live your everyday life.
Facts.
We can spin that thing. We can spool that baby up real quick. You just got to be willing to play the game.
Facts. And until you're ready mentally to do it, you're where you're at.
You can retrain a metabolism so quickly.
Agreed.
Guys, this tour of, everything that we're doing, we got to move. We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
This was too much fun. I literally was like starting to talk about something else, and I'm like, fuck.
Well, we'll have to do it again.
Go.
Let's just call this part 1.
Part 1.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jonathan, his shop's right around the corner. He can come here whenever.
I could come whenever.
Now he's got Nora.
Yes.
Fucking A. This is a great conversation. Guys, if you like what you heard, make sure you click subscribe. Make sure you comment. You can talk shit if you want to. That's okay. Share this shit out there. Do everything. If you made it this far, God bless you. We'll put everybody nutrition's information down below. Obviously, we'll put John Anderson's information down below, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Wolves Only podcast powered by JWX. We're fucking out.
That was good stuff.
I could do that for 9 million hours.